think you can make fun of me? I'm a genius.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're looking at instances where South Park warned us, either intentionally or inadvertently, about people who have gained bad reputations.
Here he comes. He's still looking good.
Jennifer Lopez. In back-to-back Season 5 episodes, Stan and Kyle tortured a Jennifer Lopez toy. This was child's play compared to Season 7, when Cartman's hand puppet upstages the real Lopez, who is depicted as an out-of-touch diva who views herself as God's gift to the world.
Some girl in Colorado's trying to become the new Jennifer Lopez! Shut up!
What? Who could replace you?
In the years following this episode, Lopez seemed to bring herself down to earth. That was until her 2024 documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. What was supposed to provide a behind-the-scenes look at Lopez's latest album and accompanying narrative film played more like an egotistical celebrity tooting her own horn. It was a vanity project that reeked of entitlement, taking us back to 2003 when the world was officially over Bennifer. They broke up again around this time.
I had 6 platinum records and I starred in 5 Hollywood movies!
Yeah, me too.
Meghan Markle. At first, some championed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex for speaking out against the royal family. In 2023, though, South Park pointed out an irony that's only become more apparent.
We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard. Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting?
For a couple who stepped away from their fellow royals in favor of a more private life, they have a habit of calling attention to themselves. Meghan Markle, in particular, can't seem to get enough of the spotlight. South Park called Meghan and Harry out under the guise of a Canadian prince and his Instagram-loving wife. The episode is slightly more sympathetic toward the prince, depicting his wife as the one who calls the shots.
What the hell? What'd he just say? He victimized me! It's because I'm an ethnic woman!
The media has painted a similar portrait of Harry, arguing that he traded one controlling privileged monarch for another. Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping has been the president of China since 2013. Although with the termination of term limits, some would argue that he's become a dictator who has ushered in an age of censorship.
Are you prisoners here?
Some people said Pooh looked like the Chinese president, so we're illegal in China now.
Jesus, what kind of madhouse is this?
As South Park pointed out, Winnie the Pooh came under scrutiny in China after Xi was compared to the silly old bear. While censored, Pooh hasn't been outright banned in China. South Park is banned, however, following a Season 23 episode poking fun at the parallels between the president and Pooh. The Chinese government outlawed South Park. Everything online, from streaming episodes to fan sites, was erased in China. This only proves what South Park was saying. Xi is oppressing freedom of speech.
Whatever happened to old-time values? You already have business with the Chinese. You have all the connections money can buy. But there's one thing you don't have, and that's integrity.
China fell right into South Park's trap. Britney Spears' critics. When Britney Spears was at her lowest, South Park provided a surprisingly empathetic portrayal. That's not to say she's depicted in the most flattering light, but the episode is far more critical of the paparazzi and public that thrived on kicking Spears while she was down.
I can't take it anymore!
As much as South Park condemns celebrities, this episode reminds us that Spears is a person. To the blood-sucking tabloids banking on her misfortune, she was fair game. It wasn't until years later that the media was held accountable for piling onto Spears' pain. Over a decade before framing Britney Spears, South Park told us to leave her alone.
All right, enough already. This has all gone on long enough.
While Spears is thankfully doing better now, this episode still reminds society how awful it can be as a whole. Kristi Noem. Donald Trump has made numerous questionable choices as president, endorsing Kristi Noem being one of them.
Welcome to the team, recruits.
I'm Kristi Noem, head of Homeland Security.
As Secretary of Homeland Security, Noem was already making an infamous name of herself, but South Park highlighted a detail you might have overlooked. In her book, Noem wrote about killing her dog, Cricket. Chasing chickens and once biting Noem, Cricket wasn't obeying her master during hunting season. So Noem hunted Cricket, taking the dog to a gravel pit. Cricket isn't the only animal that Noem has put down, taking out a goat she deemed nasty and mean. So when there are false reports of immigrants eating dogs, Trump causes an uproar. But when Noem slaughters a furry friend, he gives her a position of power. Makes sense.
You did another great job out there, Mackie. I like your style.
Oh, thank you.
President's handing out bonuses to recruits that stand out, and I'm gonna recommend you for the next...
Oh! Grab it!
Jeff Bezos. There's no denying that Amazon has made life easier for consumers. That's why most people have turned a blind eye to the company's various controversies, like causing smaller businesses to go under and creating a poor work culture.
This is what we've been reduced to. We are the backbone that makes the fulfillment center work.
At the top of this pyramid is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who South Park depicts as a diabolical supervillain right out of a Star Trek episode. Amazon workers aren't the only ones who have criticized Bezos. Employees from the Washington Post, which Bezos owns, have spoken out against their boss, especially after he blocked the paper from endorsing Kamala Harris during the 2024 presidential election. Bezos has been accused of backing candidates who promise to make the rich richer and keep consumers in their place down below.
Nobody's coming to work for you, so you can take your whole plan and fulfill it somewhere else.
Damn you, integrity!
Bill Donohue. In South Park, the president of the Catholic League claims that everything he's doing is in the name of God.
You asked for the help of the American Catholic League. Let us do our job.
Yet when Jesus doesn't see eye to eye with him, Donohue is ready to crucify Christ again. Although the episode ends with Jesus slicing him in half, Donohue seemed flattered by his portrayal, which we're not sure is a good thing. Donohue displayed a still from the episode featuring his animated counterpart dressed as the Pope. That doesn't exactly diminish the idea that Donohue wants to usurp the Pope's power for himself. Donohue was more critical of an episode about sexual abuse in the church.
That's not what's going on. Your local priest was never here, actually.
Yeah, he was. I played with him.
Oh, you did?
Yet, his issue wasn't the church's depiction, but that the predatory priests were targeting kids rather than adolescents. Daniel Snyder. Washington's football team retired its problematic logo and name in 2020. 6 years earlier, South Park was already throwing shade at the team's trademark.
Kyle, you're not hearing me. The trademark has been pulled. We can do whatever we want.
When Cartman tries to claim the trademark for himself, he goes up against the team's disgruntled owner, Daniel Snyder. Cartman turns the tables on Snyder, showing him what it's like when a business takes part of your identity and profits off it. Perpetuating a negative stereotype is one thing, but in the years since this episode, Snyder has faced accusations of sexual harassment, toxic working conditions, and financial fraud. In 2023, Snyder's controversies culminated in him selling his team, which now goes by the Washington Commanders. Suddenly, we don't feel as bad for Snyder as the Dallas Cowboys tackle him.
The Cowboys kick it off.
L. Ron Hubbard. South Park did their homework for the episode Trapped in the Closet, detailing what Scientologists actually believe.
The aliens were no longer frozen. They were dead. The souls of those aliens, however, lived on and all floated up towards the sky. But the evil Lord Xenu had prepared for this.
It's brutally honest about the church's founder, sci-fi writer L. Ron Hubbard. As Kyle tells Stan, Hubbard was accused of having young boys as lovers and was busted on multiple criminal charges, including fraud. Family members also accused Hubbard of abuse. Beyond Hubbard as a person, it could be argued that he's caused more harm as a symbol. Some might describe Scientology as a religion. Others see it as a cult that brainwashes its followers.
I'm not the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. And Scientology is just a big fat global scam.
Oh, we are gonna sue you!
Isaac Hayes III even claims that the church forced his father to retire as chef after a stroke, tweeting, "My dad did not quit South Park. Scientology did." Andrew Tate. Randy Marsh got pretty toxic for a period. So toxic that he enlisted the help of a sex trafficker named Alonzo Fineschi, a thinly veiled version of Andrew Tate.
Look, I'm just trying to combat the messages that the liberal left is putting out to young men about their male instincts being toxic.
A kickboxer turned influencer, Tate built an empire on misogyny and far-right politics. When this episode aired in March 2023, Romanian authorities were already investigating Tate for his alleged criminal activities. Later that year, Tate and his brother were officially charged with human trafficking and sexual abuse, among other crimes. Since then, even more charges have been brought up against the Tate brothers, including a civil case involving tax evasion. While the brothers have denied any wrongdoing, many fear for the generation of young men who grew up buying into Tate's toxicity.
It's okay, Randy, we're back.
I'm sorry, I cut your trip short.
It's okay, Randy, you made it longer than last spring break.
Barry Bonds. Learning a valuable lesson, Jimmy condemns athletes who use steroids with Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, and Jason Giambi ironically in the background.
The truth is, I haven't been playing fair either. I've been using steroids. I was willing to do anything to be the best, and the steroids made me blind to the people I was hurting.
While all three MLB players would be embroiled in doping scandals, Bonds' image arguably got hit the hardest. In addition to performance-enhancing allegations, Bonds was indicted for perjury. Found guilty of obstruction of justice, Bonds' sentence included probation, community service, and house arrest, although the conviction was overturned.
The issue hasn't been what they achieved,
756,
but how they achieved it.
We know exactly what he did. We know the extent to which he used the drugs. We know the way the drugs changed dramatically the numbers and his performance.
Despite maintaining his innocence, Bonds acknowledged that he wasn't very sportsmanlike, saying in 2016, "No one wants to be treated like that because I was considered to be a terrible person." Reflecting on the episode, Trey Parker said, "This was like way before people were calling out Barry Bonds, so I'm pretty proud of that."
Hey kid, good for you for being honest.
Rob Schneider. Matt Stone and Trey Parker dedicated an entire episode to so-called medium John Edward depicting him as a phony.
Look, what I do doesn't hurt anybody. I give people closure and help them cope with life.
No, you give them false hope and a belief in something that isn't real.
While numerous skeptics share the same views on Edward, the episode is more recognized for its portrayal of Rob Schneider. The real Schneider thought the parody was hilarious, and if releasing terrible comedies to the public were his worst offense, he wouldn't be on our list.
It was the guys from South Park did an episode, which was very funny.
In recent years, though, Schneider has become infamous for spreading baseless conspiracy theories, misinformation about vaccines, and hate speech towards marginalized groups, most notably transgender people. Those are just some reasons Schneider's daughter, Elle King, is at odds with him. With many fans turning on Schneider as well, maybe he's become worthier of John Edwards' title.
Rob Schneider is da derpty derp da deedly derpy derpy derp.
Caitlyn Jenner. Jenner has been a prominent South Park figure since season 19, when Kyle questions if she's truly a hero.
Your son said some things to a 4th grade girl that frankly make me want to puke. Now that I'm principal, I'm not going to allow anyone at the school to be made feel unsafe and harassed.
What did he say?
You'll have to excuse my language. I don't think Caitlyn Jenner is a hero.
Under PC pressure, Kyle concludes that coming out as transgender was brave. That doesn't necessarily mean Jenner is a good person, however. This is reflected in the following episode, addressing Jenner's real-life car crash that claimed a life.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
She settled without jail time in what could be chalked up to a horrible accident. But Jenner's former supporters have struggled to justify her recent behavior. This includes standing against trans girls in female sports. Just as her South Park counterpart became Garrison's running mate, Jenner later endorsed Trump and ran for office herself. Yet many feel Jenner's political views contradict the message of acceptance she once preached.
Well, do I look presidential?
Honestly, you look 20 years younger.
Mama June Shannon. This Emmy-winning episode questions how low the standards for humanity have plummeted using Here Comes Honey Boo Boo as a point of reference.
Her favorite foods are sketty and butter, and she likes drinking Red Bull and Mountain Dew.
South Park depicts matriarch Mama June Shannon as a shameless reality TV mom who passes the same values, or lack thereof, to her daughter. Parker and Stone weren't the first to question Shannon's parenting capabilities. The plot thickened 2 years later when news broke Shannon was dating a registered sex offender who harmed daughter Anna.
It's about getting the truth out there. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to lose. I just want me to tell my side of the story.
This later led to the show's cancellation, but Mama June still found work on TV. June's substance use persisted, though, leading to legal issues. This contributed to her strained relationship with Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson, who has tried getting away from her mama's drama as an adult.
If Mama wants to have like a relationship with me, she needs to pay me back, because one thing I don't do is I don't hang around no thief that gonna steal my money now.
Mel Gibson. When Mel Gibson made The Passion of the Christ, some deemed him a profound auteur with a meaningful message to share. Others, like Stone and Parker, questioned what was going on in this guy's head. The show's daffy portrayal of Gibson grew more relevant with time as the Oscar winner became engulfed in numerous legal troubles and public relations nightmares.
And that's what happens. Too much pressure, too much work. You do things that go against good judgment. So that's it.
By the time Gibson was implicated in a domestic violence case, few saw a path forward for the once celebrated actor and filmmaker. That said, Gibson's career would rebound with him going on to score another Oscar nomination for Hacksaw Ridge. His comeback shocked some, but even the South Park creators admit that Gibson knows story structure. Otherwise, say what you will about him.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Say what you want about Mel Gibson, but the son of a bitch knows story structure.
Ira Einhorn. Earth Day brainwashing organization leader Jack Farless is so committed to saving the planet that he's willing to cause anyone who stands in his way physical pain, namely Kenny.
But I warn you, you better not promise things to Earth Day people that you can't deliver. Earth Day people can be very unforgiving.
No problem.
Although Farless is fictional, he's based on Ira Einhorn, who helped popularize Earth Day. In addition to sharing a physical resemblance, complete with a ponytail, Einhorn and Farless have a history of violence. In the late 70s, Einhorn was accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Holly Maddox, fleeing to Europe before he could face trial.
I can remember saying it to the DA. He's gone. He served his subpoena, wasn't there. Then we went over to the location and saw that everything was gone.
By the 90s, Einhorn's name had fallen into obscurity. Following an arrest in 1997, though, Einhorn was extradited to the U.S. on July 20th, 2001. 2 days after this episode aired, Einhorn was sentenced to life in prison, dying in 2020.
Einhorn was eventually brought back to Philadelphia, where he was convicted for the murder. The cause of death is not yet known, but we're told it's not related to the virus outbreak.
Kanye West. When South Park dished out its Fish Sticks episode in 2009, Kanye West was already gaining a reputation for his impulsive behavior.
Just doesn't make any sense, yo. Why is everyone calling me a gay fish?
Kanye, look, we all think it would be better if you would just drop it. You know, I mean, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
What do you mean I don't get it, House? I'm a genius. I'll understand it. I just need to break it down is all.
It wasn't until West interrupted Taylor Swift's VMA speech later that year, people realized just how spot on South Park was. The Ye saga has only gotten more erratic over time, from his offensive comments on slavery to his attempt to break into politics to his Nazi ideals.
I think there's a left agenda to silence anyone that goes against the agenda.
The fish thing might have been a joke, but even South Park couldn't make all this up. Yet the show's portrayal of Ye only seems to become more accurate every year. Part of that may be mental health related, although some argue that Ye's bipolar diagnosis doesn't absolve him of hate speech.
That's right.
R. Kelly. Before the Trapped in the Closet episode, R. Kelly's alleged crimes were the music industry's worst-kept secret, if you could even call it a secret by 2005.
I was just standing here, and Tom Cruise locked himself in the closet. And I asked myself, why won't Tom Cruise just come out the closet? But nobody has no answers. And so I pull out my gun. Tell me why Tom Cruise in the closet or else I'm gonna shoot someone.
Many turned a blind eye to the R. Kelly stories, but not South Park. 3 years after the show depicted the singer as a loose cannon who endangers those around him, Kelly was acquitted of the charges against him.
But was acquitted in 2008 when the girl and her family denied Jane was in the video.
Amid the hashtag MeToo movement and the surviving R. Kelly documentary, law enforcement revisited the decades of accusations. This led to Kelly's arrest and conviction, with the artist currently serving a 31-year combined sentence. When people look back at the various episodes that warned us about R. Kelly, South Park stands out as one of the most quotable examples.
Why won't you both just come out the closet? And they said,
We're not coming out the closet, so you can just go away.
But everyone wants you out the closet.
That doesn't matter because we're gonna stay.
Now I'm starting to get angry, so I pull out my gun.
P. Diddy. Best remembered for this Season 8 episode, P. Diddy's Vote or Die campaign, or Citizen Change, might sound like something South Park fabricated.
Puff Daddy?
Your friend Kyle told me you don't understand the importance of voting. Apparently you haven't heard of my Vote or Die campaign.
It was all too real, however. South Park got more right about Diddy than the creators likely expected. Just as his caricature threatened Stan, the real Diddy has since been linked to more than 100 cases of abuse, some involving minors. Amid the accusations, people couldn't help but think about South Park's parody. They also looked back to another episode where Satan asks,
Damn it, what didn't Diddy do?
It's a question we've been asking a lot lately, wondering how this case can possibly become more surreal or troubling. The most prognostic parts? Diddy was arrested on September 16, 2024, right before National Voter Registration Day. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Jared Fogle. The former Subway spokesman might have seemed like an odd target for South Park in 2002.
After a year of eating delicious sub sandwiches, I've proven weight loss is easy.
Of course, we guess that was part of the joke. Jared Fogle appeared to be a good role model and an all-around beloved figure. Surely he'd be the last person society would turn against. A lot can change over 13 years. In 2015, Fogle's history of inappropriate and criminal behavior with children came to light.
Today, Fogle came to court to accept a plea deal. Instead of serving as much as 50 years, he'll likely spend between 5 and 12.5 years in prison.
Jared Fogle expects to go to prison. He will do his time. He expects to get well. He expects to continue to make amends to those people whose lives he has affected.
Unlike his downfall in South Park, this wasn't one big misunderstanding. Fogle pleaded guilty, being sentenced to more than a decade and a half, in prison. The episode thus took on a whole new level of commentary. South Park has since done other Jared parodies, and now citizens have a legitimate reason to fear him.
And send in Jared!
Can you think of any terrible people who got the South Park treatment? Let us know in the comments.
What the hell is that? My name is Jennifer Lopez, and I like tacos and burritos. That's what replaced me?